Viewer discretion is advised.
I recall being excited that morning, the first time ever I went on a fishing trip with my dad on a Saturday morning. We puttered along to the middle of the lake, shut off the engine, cast our lines, and waited. We sat there, waiting and waiting for a bite, but nothing came. Just a nibble here and there. We chatted about mundane things for a while until my pole and even the boat lurched forward. Something massive had gotten hooked and was slowly pulling us around. I yelled for my dad to help me, and he took the pole and attempted to reel in whatever gargantuan fish I had hooked. My dad was a big guy, so to see him strain so much against a fish was startling. Eventually, we were pulled farther and farther out into the lake. As he struggled, I looked out into the distance and saw what looked like a tugboat. Confused, I asked my dad if he saw it too. He grunted that he had and told me to shout to them to help us out. I called out to the boat, but after getting close enough to see it, I regretted yelling immediately. The boat was covered in blood and organs and looked terribly rusted with no one on board. At first, I thought there was some horrible accident until I saw the tentacles that sprouted out from it and what looked like eye stalks. I shouted for my dad to just let the pole go as we needed to leave immediately. But he was too engrossed in what he was doing to notice. He did manage to reel in the fish, which actually turned out to be on that tugboat's tentacles. My dad freaked out and chucked it into the water along with the fishing pole. He quickly turned on the engine in an attempt to get out of there. The tugboat sped through the water behind us, its tentacles flailing behind us, chunks of rancid-smelling flesh being launched at us from God knows where. My dad told me to open his tackle box and remove the top layer. I did and found a gun, which I didn't even know he had one. He shouted instructions at me on how to use it, and I immediately opened fire on the thing as best as I could. By the grace of God or some unknown entity, a few of my shots slowed it down enough for us to get to shore. We abandoned the boat and opted to just get away by driving. I peered out the window and saw the tugboat just sitting there in the shallows before sinking below the water. Personally, I think that whatever it was hurt, and so figured we weren't worth chasing any further. Who knows? As for my dad and me, we spend all of our time on land now, pretending we never encountered some kind of eldritch beast. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you SCP Foundation KETER class object SCP-6426. SCP-6426, also known as Vampire Boat, is an anomalous marine vessel currently in Foundation custody after a prolonged battle with the entity in 3 Portlands, an extra-dimensional city-state located within a pocket universe, which overlaps with the locations of Portland, Maine, Portland, Oregon, and the Isle of Portland in the United Kingdoms. It is the largest paranormal enclave in North America, and is one of the most populous locations to be entirely concealed behind the veil. 6426 is a sapient tugboat with vampiric characteristics. It is ambulatory, meaning it has adapted certain parts of its structure into appendages that can carry itself on land. 6426 is incredibly hostile towards all living things and very predatory by nature. As for its physical appearance, 6426 looks like an incredibly rusted tugboat, albeit consisting of both metal and organic material. In order to repair itself, 6426 drains the blood from its prey. Not only blood, but any organ-filled or entity that has blood will also be absorbed into its biomass. Excess blood and organic material are converted to large tentacles, cannons, and harpoons. The purpose of these weapons are used almost exclusively in capturing new prey and defense if necessary. Other than weaponry, 6426 can also create eye-like appendages that produce cognitohazards in order to lure in prey. It should be noted that the cannonballs shot from 6426 consist of anomalous barnacles. These barnacles take the place of the missing flesh of the host they punctured, and then in turn take control of the host, killing them in the process. These converted entities are classified as SCP-6426-C. Not only that, they can move on their own and become rolling masses of carnivorous flesh. The tentacles that 6426 uses have leech-like mouths that are used in the conversion of would-be prey. These mouths puncture the skin of the living organism and clamp down on the base of the spinal column, killing the host. These entities, designated as SCP-6426-A, are similar to what we know as vampires. Instances of 6426-A suck the blood from prey, sending the supply of blood to 6426 and also serve to protect 6426. These entities can be granted unique powers from 6426, ranging from extreme physical strength and speed to insanely durable bodies. These instances can be absorbed should it run low on blood or heal itself. The last ability unique to 6426 is that it can create instances of SCP-6426-B. These instances are boats converted through the use of 6426, coating it with its organic matter. These boats are less intelligent versions of 6426 and can act independently of it, but will respond to any and all orders that 6426 gives them. The discovery of 6426 was a very violent affair. It manifested within the waters of 3 Portlands after converting over a dozen boats. All of these instances supplied some organic matter to create a massive fleshy wall entrapping the Gunrock district. These instances in 6426 then embarked on a massive campaign to slaughter and absorb all the organic matter in the district, humans. Military personnel were dispatched immediately and were able to combat these instances to a certain extent. While they were able to protect some civilians, it was the 3 Portland's very own local law enforcement security golems who were able to push them back. One golem in particular charged at 6426 and managed to beat it down, injuring it severely. Unfortunately, the golem was dispatched rather quickly after 6426 repeatedly slammed on top of it, shattering it. Another entity, a parahuman within 3 Portlands known only as the Gruel, fought it off with twin swords but was unable to kill it. Before the instances could overrun the Gunrock district, extra security personnel arrived, shattered through the barrier with numerous golems. These golems fought back all instances of 6426-A, B, and C. The Gruel then used its impressive strength to beat 6426 down, launch it into the air, and punched it so hard it opened a waypoint to our reality. The now unconscious 6426 was then apprehended by the Foundation and has been in custody since. While many civilians were killed in the apprehension of 6426, a valuable piece of information was learned. 6426 and its instances are weak to Electrum. All Foundation security personnel guarding its containment unit are given Electrum bullets in an effort to stall it should it try to breach containment, until better and stronger forces can arrive to subdue it. A few months after containment, 6426 managed to breach its containment and go on a slaughter throughout the Foundation facility it was housed in. However, when on-site security personnel cornered the entity within an office space, they observed something peculiar. It suddenly began fixating at the Foundation's insignia on the wall, as if fascinated or perplexed, and then ceased its rampage and absorbed all the converted personnel and used their biomass to construct an organic siren which began emitting human vocalizations. A junior researcher, Dr. Williamson, was sent to speak with 6426 on his very first day with the Foundation. Do I really got to speak with the fleshy boat monster? Yep, you're the best man we've got now. What happened to the other researchers? I'm just a junior. Most qualified personnel was killed when it went on rampage. As for your head researcher, well, you just heard him coming through its siren. Why don't you do it? You seem oddly calm about all this. I'm a director, not a doctor. I'm in charge of the workings of the facility. You're in charge of the science stuff. Now go talk to it. You'll be fine. Damn it. All right. Here we go. Dr. Williamson stepped into the room shakily. In contrast, the entity appeared apprehensive, diplomatic even, as it waited patiently for Dr. Williamson's approach. Hello? I'm Dr. Williamson. You must be… Suddenly, its siren blared again, and out came the voice of the site's former head researcher. I am so sorry. I thought you were those self-righteous lunatics from the church. I apologize profusely for any trouble I may have caused, and I want to point out I fully support your mission. The room was dumbfounded by this turn of event. An eldritch boat monster apologizing for its behavior was simply too far out of the Foundation's expectation. You are, of course, from Shark Punching Center, yes? Actually, we are… Play along. Well, yeah, I'm from the Shark Punching Center, of course. Apparently, it had mistaken them for the Church of the Broken God. This information caused lots of speculations to run rampant throughout the researchers who were present and afterward. It would appear that because of the fleshy amalgamation the 6426 was, it could be related to the flesh that hates, or some other spawn of Yaldabaoth, the god of the Sarkics. When asked why 6426 went on a rampage, it said that it was hunting an Admiral Izzet. Izzet and the church had been hunting his kind for a long time. 6426 then explained that everyone and everything were nothing but cabin boys wandering around in blackness, unable to do anything. And it was the church that prevented greatness and joy in the world. But to make the world a better place, they must invite the beast in through a waypoint in 3 Portlands. Dr. Williamson and the other researchers were astounded by this information. They were aware of the large number of anomalous entities, objects, and phenomena in 3 Portlands, but none were aware that there is a waypoint capable of bringing such entities like Yeldaboth. It was at this point that 6426 began to question whether or not he was truly speaking with the Shark Punching Center, as it thought. Yeah, we are the Shark Punching Center. We will determine if you are a suitable candidate to carry out the mission, to search, punch, and contain sharks.
Wait, did you say containment? I can sense a lie in your words. Yes, you're lying.
Thanks to the inexperience of Dr. Williamson, 6426 discovered the ruse and immediately attempted to escape, crashing into the nearby wall multiple times in order to break through. Fortunately, with the help of some on-site electrum and sonic weapons, 6426 was subdued and contained. While the Foundation is concerned with 6426 breaching containment in the future, what they learned from it was far more disturbing, which is the fact that there are unknown waypoints in 3 Portlands that can accidentally be opened at any time, waypoints that can bring forth eldritch beings from another reality. When the O5 Council was made aware of such ramifications, they almost unanimously decided to start an expedition to find any and all waypoints. And should any be found, they are to be forcefully shut, their location marked down, and cut off from the general public. The only one who opposed was O5-3. O5-3 stated that searching for such waypoints would ensure their destruction. She explained that it would become a self-fulfilling prophecy to find them. Who's to say that if they find a waypoint, some entity wouldn't just cross over immediately and kill everyone? Or perhaps they would find the waypoint to Yeldaboth. What then? O5-3 petitioned the administrator, the only figure with authority above the council. After reviewing both sides of the argument, he ruled in favor of O5-3. His reasoning was as follows. Time and time again, we have protected the normalcy of the world, prevented abominations from leaking into our plane of existence, and more. I assumed you all would be competent enough to understand that trying to find them would be disastrous. Under normal circumstances, this would be fine. But I cannot believe I must remind you all that we are not equipped to combat such profane and horrid things as an elder god. O5-3 is correct in her argument. The next time I have to step in for something like this, expect an in-depth review of not only your performance, but your competency. With that said, the council then ruled in favor of leaving such unidentified waypoints alone, in fear of summoning something vile and of the administrator.